Hi, I'm Corey. Welcome to Creating with Scraps. This video is the completed bug journals using Tracy Fox Creative Vintage Bugs and Dark Compendium kits. I had been waiting for mica to come to finish them off, some mica sheets and the Tim Holtz optical lens, because I just felt like bug books needed those elements. Mica, if you're not familiar with it, we used it 25 years ago, 30 years ago in stamping and crafting, and it's a geological mineral. I believe it's a rock or a type of rock, and it's thin layers of this transparent, I don't know how well you can see that, thin layers of transparent sheeting. It is flexible and it does break, but it's also, I guess maybe they, in the early days of bugs and bug collecting and specimens and such, they utilized this, but it's just fabulous stuff. And sorry for the glare. When I think of bugs, I think of mica. So I was waiting for that. And you can see here, I put it on just this little fold out journaling book, but I put it over the die cut, the negative space of the die cut that I put there, and it just kind of changes a little bit. Now this is peelable, so you could go in and peel off a layer, but I used the Tim Holtz Distress Collage medium to hold it in place, and it dried really well. It gives it kind of a cool effect. It took a bit to dry, but it's holding it really nicely, and you don't see any of the pieces underneath. All right, so let's dive in. There are two books, and they are just cleverly named. I had this from something else. I was showing a technique, and I really liked the way it looked with it. Just a little journaling card. And this particular journal has one pocket, so this book became one, even though there are two bees on the front. And here again, I put the mica over the bees, and I like the image that it gives. Let's try that again, Corey. Tracy Fox Vintage Bugs is the background paper and almost all of the images, and then the Dark Compendium is some of the darker pieces. This series, these books, were designed to take me out of my comfort zone because I'm not usually a bug person, but I loved the images, I loved the concept, and honestly, it was a lot of fun to do something I don't normally do, adding my own usual thing. This is antique lace that I'd salvaged from a bedspread, and I put it over the spine, and then I used collage medium to hold it in place. I like collage medium as opposed to Mod Podge, simply because when it gets hot, it doesn't get sticky. Sometimes Mod Podge will, and that's why I sealed it on there, so it's on there pretty well. All right, 5 signatures. Measurements are 8-ish by 5-ish, 7.5 by 5, 8 by 5, I think is what it turned out to be. And no new techniques really in this, just kind of had fun playing. And let's see if I can change the angle a little bit to maybe minimize some of the glare. I'd forgotten to put them in, but Carrie at Witchcraft Do You Do does laser stencils, and I had purchased several, and these are some buggy ones, so I put them in to tuck inside each of the journals. I just had forgotten to do that. Chipboard covers, chipboard spine covered with Tracy's Dark Compendium. These books both contain a lot of old vintage and antique memorabilia papers and such. I have a bunch of them that I purchased over the years, and I just keep forgetting to use them, so I made sure to include them in these journals because they're just cool. All right, I don't know that I'll show you everything, but this is just a little notebook with some straw paper. A couple sweet people showed me where I could either buy straw paper, which I did, and Leslie gifted me some straw paper that is just love it. So I had to include it because I thought the colors went really well with this. So just a little notepad basically inside that pocket. And I'm not going to show you every notepad, but I do want to show you how I just used a variety of neutral colors, neutral papers, and Tracy's fabulous images to create these. Journaling card. This is, let's see, what year was this? 1903 German ledger, and absolutely love it. So I couldn't cover it with anything, but you can see the different colors on there, and it's not a reproduction, it's an actual ledger piece. This is that flip up that I really like to do. This is from the Dark Compendium. It's a raven, or yeah, I think it's raven or a crow. I'm not sure. I know one's bigger than the other, but that's about all I know. But it's the flip up piece so that you can have different writing. And I've shown those before, but I wanted to include it here. And then what I did was the image itself on the flip up pieces is down here. And then I just matched it up and used it as a closure so that it's on the top as well. A lot of stenciling. I used the Tim Holtz mini stencils. As I was cataloging my stencils recently, I find that I use the Tim Holtz minis the most with journaling, I guess because of the small scale maybe, and so clearly I need more of them because I found that they worked really well for this. This was another from the tags that I did recently, and tag pockets, and which I think is one of the pieces that inspired the tag pocket. So there's a pocket on the side and a pocket here. I had to stop myself from making as many pockets and such as I normally do, because as you can see, look, this is not a gator mouth, but it is a full chunky journal, in spite of the 2.5-inch spine, or maybe it's a 3-inch spine. Yeah, 3-inch spine. Both of them have 3-inch spine and 5 signatures. I tend to make everything really fat, so I wanted to leave plenty of room. Every page in here is decorated because, well, mostly. Maybe not every page. I'll take that back. Most pages are, but every page definitely has a place to write because I do want to make sure I include places to write in the journals that I create. You know, there's place down here on this cool background paper to write, but also you know, pull up kind of a writing because sometimes it's harder to write inside the journal. That's what I need to do. Note to self, I need to put writing boards in each of these books. I had intended to do it and then I got sidetracked. Oh, you know, because I squirrel, Tracy has another new kit because, you know, one wasn't enough, and it's called Simple Snowfall, and here's a sneak peek of a piece from the cover. Absolutely love it. It's gorgeous. So that's coming up too. Okay. All vintage journaling cards, postcards, and then some Tracy images about her butterfly kit, I believe. And here, this is a belly band. Did I not put a piece? Oh, there, I didn't put a piece in there. Okay, again, note to self, I need to tuck a journaling card in here. But this is just a belly band with the bugs. Envelopes that come in the kit, and then I changed them up a little bit to make a pocket here, pocket, and then cut it off. I think I showed in another video, cut the envelope flap off, glued it back on to make a little tuck spot for another journaling bit. This I've seen on a couple different channels, and I apologize that I don't remember who, but I've seen it on a couple different channels where you take an envelope, you cover it, and then, you know, you take an envelope, you cut it, you put journaling paper in it, and then cover it, and it makes a kind of like a hidden journaling spot, pocket kind of a thing. And then with another tag, I just tucked a little flip up journaling bit here. Notepad, that's the word I'm looking for, a notepad. Okay, and I didn't want to take the time to do all that. Here, I'll just move on. This is the back of that old ledger. I'm not sure what month that is. May, maybe? May 1903. So really cool, really old. But it's actually in surprisingly good shape considering the age. Here's another belly band with tags. Just cut the large butterfly image, which was beautiful, in half, layered it on some tags, offset them a slight bit, and made it into a belly band. Oh, from Seneca, Missouri. This is clearly an old bill of sale kind of a thing, and I got a little booklet of those. And again, this book is tons of vintage ephemera in it, and then a notepad underneath to write, and then that's the belly band from the other side. Look, a plain page. There's a little bit of stamping and such on it, but just a coffee dyed tracing paper page to journal on, and then the same concept over here. A writing paper page, and again, this is why I need to put a writing board in there, because I want the people, whoever gets this, to be able to put a writing board in and use it if they choose to. Double pocket, tag with double pockets down there, and then this is a removable little notepad, again with that same concept of cutting off the top of the tag, turning it, and gluing it down to make a tuck spot. A flip down writing spot, some side pockets, old stamps. Oh, you know, those stamps that they collected at the grocery and such. I'm drawing a blank on what they're called, but they're really cool. There's some pages of that. A pocket in the back, and then this is a pocket, a see-through window pocket with a journaling card inside. just another option. Great place to tuck something that you would maybe necessarily want to be seen all the time. Oh, let's see. Oh, and I didn't put anything in the envelope. So there's a couple things. I do need to go through it again. Oh, there is something in there. Okay. An envelope that just kind of covers a little glued on notepad. Journaling pages. I know it's not a bird book, but birds eat bugs, and I found this really cool feather on a hike, and I did the put it in a bag and kill anything, seal it off thing, and I just really love the feather. So I don't know if you can see it, but it's got some like dark blue and brown in there, and it was really pretty, so I put it in. And this is, again, just a journaling page. And this is, this is a buggy pocket tuck, but it also holds down the writing space right there. So with 2 tags, that's a tag thing. Flip out little booklet, places to write inside the little booklets, or inside the pockets of the journaling card. I think this is either a journaling card or a little booklet. Yeah, journaling card. So, you know, places to write inside. On these, I found them at a thrift store. It was a brand new pack, but cool old New Orleans. It was brand new, but it was made in the 50s. So it still had its cellophane on it, and I had to pick it up. And I tucked a couple of those in there just because I thought the colors worked well. One of the Tim Holtz pockets with variety of tags, glassine bag with some vintage library cards, journaling card, and a little notepad. I think these are from Tim Holtz in one of his kits, and I loved that word, and I thought it went really well with that butterfly. So just a little butterfly tuck spot with journaling card, and then some straw paper. Old music page. And this, I think it's, oh, it opens up. That's what I did. Okay, so opens up to journaling notepad. And yeah, see, like this, I think that would be really cool with some of that mica glued on top of the top. I didn't want to put any inside because I don't know how sturdy it'll be inside of a journal, but I think, you know, if that were a cover or something, or the front of a card, that would be really cool. Some more vintage and antique. Bills of sale, library card, that type of thing. Flip up to a notepad. This one just moves to the side and drops down to a notepad. Lots of notepads. I think that's probably why my books get so thick, because I really like notepads. Pocket with some journal index cards. Those are vintage. The date on the back of them was 1937, I believe is what it was. But there's a whole bunch, and they'd started to write something at the top, so I just kind of left it because I thought the writing was really pretty. And this is one of those pull-out little mail slot envelopes. This is not vintage. This is just a journaling card from Tim Holtz. I think it's from the Tim Holtz kit. But this is 1928, so almost antique. Chattooga County Bank in Somerville, Georgia. I just thought it was kind of cool. So I tucked that on in there. I did not make this a pocket in the back, though I could have. There is a pocket on the inside with a journaling card. And I just thought she was the sweetest thing. This is a vintage postcard. No, yeah, vintage postcard. I found her. Maybe it's an antique postcard. And I just thought she was the cutest little thing. And I'm thinking she's out there hunting bugs in her pretty white dress with her pretty white shoes. Make me think turn of the 19th century, maybe. I don't know, around that time frame. Whatever. It's just really cute. Another one of those double tags. I clearly like doing that where I cut it off. Layered 2 tags, cut the top off and make a tuck spot. And then some more of the tags from the kit. And then again, these are Tim Holtz little word cards that I just thought were fun. A belly band. This is one of those Make-A-Wish, the seeds, dandelion seeds things that I had saved, and just into a belly band pocket with a journaling tag. I had picked up somewhere game cards with letters on them, and I love the size. I don't know if you can see where, but I did the word bugs and just put that in the tuck spot. And I know the technical name isn't bugs, but they're bugs. And 1908, so antique postcard that in Webster City, Iowa, tucked there on a glassine bag insert. And then I don't know, I put vintage postcard here, and more of those index cards that are used for a specific thing, or whatever she was using it for, on in a tuck spot. A time card, one of those older time cards up under a top tuck spot. This is, I did this I think in some Scrapbusters, but 4 different tags in one of these fold over pockets. And then this is vintage French letter. I want to say it was 1920. It said on the envelope, I think it was. It's French, and I want to say 1922, so 23, something like that. Journaling card, pocket with another notepad. A flip up with one of the tearaways with just scraps, so you could decorate one of those emptier pages if you wanted to. You know, just tear off a little bit and glue it in after you've done your writing. Another vintage ledger, this one from 1930. And I just cut it down and included it because I loved the variety of writing in it. Just thought it was really pretty. Tag pocket, so you can see where a lot of those tag ideas came from, with a journaling, fold-out journaling piece inside there. A little bug book, there's a notepad inside that. Ledger paper, but not antique. It's just some pretty, I want to say somebody had sent me this, and it's not straw paper. I don't mean straw paper. It's not that thin rice paper, but it's something similar to it. It's got this seriously cool smooth texture, so I wanted to include that. Pocket, these are vintage. I purchased off of eBay, 1914, so antique. Prescriptions from a doctor in Minnesota with some more straw paper, and then just a buggy tag as a pocket. Journaling card, I very rarely collage, but I had collaged on this one, and I don't know why I don't do it. I like it. It's pretty. And then that's a flip out with a pocket that has a flower specimen in it, and then almost a whole page to journal. And more of the ledger. Double pocket with 2 tags in it, and this one has 1920 something telephone company receipt and another vintage postcard from Lewiston, Idaho. One of my daughters went to WSU, and that's in Pullman, Washington, but it's right near Lewiston and Clarkston. So from 1911, another vintage postcard. So the area, you know, I like the area. It has good memories for me. The other side of that, it's a wraparound. I think I did that in flips, flaps, and folds with some more journaling tags. The back side of that vintage ledger turned into a tuck spot with a journaling card, and then just a specimen. It almost seems like you can't have a bug book without a specimen label. Okay, so that's the first book, and I'll try to go a little bit. Oh, you know what? I didn't see. Maybe I can put this in one of those empty pockets, because I need to remember to go back and put in the bits from the empty pocket. For those who will ask, in case I didn't say it, I think I did, but maybe I didn't. This is a Tim Holtz ocular lens. That's just, you know, like a bug finding thing. When I was building these books, I went to a couple of the antique mall type stores looking for vintage entomology treasures, and oh my gosh, they're impossible to find. And most of the people said that when they come in, they go out the door immediately because it's a very popular hobby. All right, so that one was 1 because it was 1 pocket and on the same brilliant plan. This one is 3 because there are 3 pockets. So 1, 2, and 3 pockets in this one. So even though there's 1 dragonfly, there are 3 pockets. And this top journaling tag in the pocket had 3 bugs. So I thought, okay, I can justify calling this one 3. And no, there's not a book number 2. There was never intended to be. That was kind of a serendipitous thing where the name worked out. And this also has the mica on the bug and the Tim Holtz optical lens, just because it seemed like it went. And I used the side tie closure. Now, I don't know if it matters or not. I didn't do it intentionally, but it kind of worked out. This one, they both have lace, but they have limited lace. This one has, the book number 1 has a little bit less lace, and book number 2 just seems to have a little bit more. Or maybe it's just taller lace. I'm not really sure. They're similar, but they are absolutely not the same. I did different things in each book. What I had done is I'd used Tracy's kit and I'd made a bunch of pieces, and I realized that there were way too many pieces for one book, which is the reason I did a second book. Tag and just a little, I think it's just a little fold over note card. Yeah, little note card in the pocket in the front. Some tags. I did this, I think, in a fall journal where you just take a large doily and you fold it in half and you put it over the center of a card, and then you sew your card in your signature, and that gives you 4 lace pockets. Journaling card, More of those Tim Holtz, this is a different book, but the Tim Holtz cards, word cards, vocabulary cards, that's the word I'm looking for. Just a tag. It was long and I really liked it, so I just made it into an extra journaling tuck spot. Not tuck spot, journaling writing spot. Double tags on the front with journaling and another journaling card in the back of that pocket. And this one I did make a side pocket, and I've got an Ein Million mark and then La Porta Negra old postcard. Doesn't have the date on it, it's unused, but it just kind of went in with the buggy color, and I figure they went there to hunt for bugs. I don't generally name my journals, but 1 and 3 are pretty much as elaborate as I get. A bug pocket with the journaling card. This is one of those drop-down journaling where you tuck it over the belly band. This is not vintage. This is just one of the Tim Holtz images back to make a journaling card. A little pocket here. This is the waterfall writing space. Use some lined journaling paper to make that. Another one of those belly band with a tuck. Same idea, different execution. So this one's got a belly band with more of those green stamps. Why can't I remember what these are known as? They're the stamp card. Another vintage. This one looks like it's French. Yeah, a French vintage card, and then another of those prescriptions. I tried to make sure I had the similar items in each book, but obviously different. Tim Holtz, another one of those large vocabulary cards. That actually goes here. Oh, and then this is the vintage division card, and then this check was from 1948. So just thought it was really pretty. See, here you go. This is the same concept, but without the mica. I just think adding the mica makes it more buggy. Like I said, I didn't want to include that in the book, but the mica inside it in case it breaks away. But another pocket, all kinds of little vintage bits and pieces, cards, postcards, ice cards, ice tickets, I guess. So you would exchange one of these before they had refrigerators with... when you used ice blocks, I should say, to cool refrigerators. So one of those in there, some other coupons and vintage things. Vintage receipts, bingo card, journaling card on a page. A little buggy book with a vintage receipt in here, another journaling card, and another journaling booklet pocket. And I thought this picture was beautiful too. It's one of those cabinet cards. I think it says on the back 1900 something, and it was just so pretty and it fit there well, so I tucked it in the side of some of those. It's the same images from the kit. These are kit pieces. I just printed them on vellum and cut them up to make a side tuck belly band. These I found at a senior rummage sale, and there was a couple of packages of them, and they're canasta or bridge, or I don't play either of those games, but they were just those little cards, and I thought they were really cute. So something kind of fun and different, and I just covered it up. And again, a pocket with more of the vintage bits. A journaling page. Oh, here's the bugs in this one with the journaling card. So I made sure and include the little bugs in each one. This is... I could have made this into a pocket too, but I didn't want to because, again, the book was getting so thick. But there is a notepad underneath here, so plenty of space to write. And little bug tuck. I showed this in the tag video. Is a little tuck for a little Tracy bug. And that's about as real as my bugs get. This is also a hold for the drop-down journaling spot. And there is a journaling card in the back using that dark compendium paper. This is another, just a little note card. And this is one of those window pockets where you pull out the journaling piece. Vintage something. I don't know if it's ledger or what, but with a vintage receipt here and another vintage image and a journaling tag or journaling card there. Some journaling cards that I flip over. There's more of the vintage pieces in there and some places to write. Some just writing paper. I used random bits of the cello tape just because I thought it was kind of fun. And when you're working in a book, sometimes you tear things as you go, and thought that'd be fun. vintage or antique letter with the letter inside, more of that prescription pad, and some journaling cards, library cards, postcard. Another little pocket with more of those journaling, and this one is a little notepad inside one of those double tag pockets. Old postcard. I thought this was really cool, in West Baldy Mountain, Idaho. It doesn't have a year, but it's an unused card, but it was really pretty, and it just needed to live in there. Figure they went there looking for bugs, or maybe they went there and they found bugs. 1911 ledger with some buggy belly band. Tag with more straw paper. This is one of those double-sided. There's a pocket here with a vintage postcard on it. There's a little tag here. This little buggy's keeping this little buggy in line, and then there's another place here with a notepad and such. Just tuck that inside the pocket. This is another pocket just to flip up with a really old German book page in it. I thought that was cool. This is a notepad with pockets on it, and so there's a writing notepad here, little pockets with some die cut bugs there, and then the pull-out tags. It was thick. I could have made this a tuck spot, but I thought leave some writing space there. And I used very few charms in this one. It just didn't seem to lend itself to charms, but this little bee charm holds that closed. Vintage postcards, a tuck spot, more of that. That's the other side of that really cool vintage ledger. You can even write in there if you chose to, but I just thought it was really pretty. This one's 1903. Pocket tag with, these are World War II ration stamps, and I just thought they were so cool. It popped up as suggested on Etsy, and of course I had to have it, with some other vintage journaling pieces, and then a little pocket here with a notepad in it. This is another notepad just glued on but clipped, and you could put a tuck underneath there, but I chose not to. Pocket tag with some more journaling cards, writing card pieces. Another notepad, just a little, it's not a notepad, this is just a journaling card tucked into that spot on the vellum pocket, top tuck. And this one, I believe, I put it on Velcro. I had to think about what I did. It's just a little pocket. And did I put something in there? I don't think I did. I'm worried that it might be tear because that's a really thin old book page, so maybe that's why I didn't. Vintage ledger on here. One of the Gail 4 pockets, and I know Gail said that she didn't invent it, but I love making these things, and I just think they're a really cool addition to a journal. So tag, notepad, journaling spot, and then pull out Wendy Townsend, the Spanish crafter, concertina style little notepad with closure. Another vintage postcard and a vintage guest check. This one happens to be Garfield Park, Chicago, and it's from, looks like 1911. So kind of fun. Envelope with more journaling space inside there, and a tag, and then a pocket. A friend of mine, Laura Thomas, made this eco-dyed paper a while ago, and I've been hesitant to use it because I absolutely love it so much, but it really worked well in this journal, so I had to include it. The other side of that envelope with just, I made a little flip out with a flower specimen, and I didn't put some, I did, I put, a really cool vintage picture of a parade in here. Oh, I know, this is my hometown, Petaluma. It's a picture from a parade in the early 1900s. Tucked spot with journaling card, and then the back is another one of these flip outs with some more vintage cards, receipts, books, playing cards, time cards, just all kinds of cool little vintage treasures that I had and found. And just kind of kept tucking them on in. All right, so that is book 1 and book 3. My friend Gay said that she would like a book, so she gets first choice, and then the other one I will put in my Etsy shop. But those are my vintage bugs books, and Tracy, thank you again for making the most usable, wonderful digitals. Thank you for watching. I hope it gave you some ideas and maybe encouraged you to step out of your comfort zone and make something that might not be necessarily your first choice to create. I tell you, I grew a lot, and I really, really enjoyed, surprisingly, how much fun it was to make these, even though I'm not a buggy gal. All right, take care, people. I've got more videos coming soon, and happy creating.